Welcome, everyone, to Generation Dan, the podcast that ruins cities in its wake as we move over the 4 years. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel, and, bienvenue, everyone. I am having a wonderful day today, and that's a bad sign, I feel. At my age, it's like if something's going well, I feel like it's the calm before, not a storm, maybe murder. Who knows? Maybe my own. I don't know. I'm waiting to see.
That needs to be the name of your special, The Calm Before the Murder. Anyway, the guest here today is Matt Biller. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. I'm Generation X, so I'm definitely not a millennial. But if you guys need any reference for the 70s, 80s, or 90s, I think I might be able to fulfill that promise.
All right, Matt, I have a question for you here. Now, do you have siblings?
No, only child.
You're only child. Okay. So, the other question is, have you ever been punched in the face?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I too am Gen X. I am like just on the cusp, but I am the youngest of 5 kids. So my older siblings who were born in the 60s and 70s beat the living shit out of me until puberty happened.
So, because they were allowed to.
Yeah, well, those were the rules. Those were the rules up until those were the rules for the last humanity. Okay, all of humanity were the rules. I'm bigger than you. I could punch you, and there's nothing you could do about it. Okay,
right.
So it's now everyone's like, you're not allowed to punch people in the face, and I'm like, well, those, my friend, are called words, and I can pay a ticket. So let's have some fun. No, yeah, I have a firm belief that people who have never been punched in the face don't know how to act in public anymore.
I can definitely get on board that train. Yeah, you're accurate.
Yeah. Just because. What's up, Jim? How you doing, buddy?
Jim? Yeah, you Dan fans out there, that is like an ongoing theme in this show that everybody needs to get punched in the face at some point to become a fully realized person. And that can be a literal like whack in the face or like dressing down.
No. Those all have varying degrees of trauma that create an adult person that knows their place in the universe. Okay, and I know how weird this sounds. Is the whole thing is now you guys have seen there's a woman who has too many teeth for her mouth, but she's like, if this is you, and she holds up 3 inches, she says, you better lower your fucking tone to me. Okay. So what I'm talking about is, which you're like, number 1, that's weird. Number 2, I don't think you measure that way. And number 3, why are you going around measuring men's dicks? That seems like a really unique hobby that you can't make money from. I mean, you kind of suck. But the whole idea is that, like, if you don't know the pecking order, act at a place, you will immediately be reminded. That's how we were
put right back into it.
Yeah, that's how we were raised. And the thing is, now people are told, no, that's okay, and you're going, no, it's not. You're not okay to do that kind of stuff. You're like, well, I don't want to do it. You're like, nobody cares what you want. I remember the first time I said that to me. Well, I don't want that, and they're like, oh, you don't get an opinion until you pay for the roof. And so zip that. And you're like, oh, I'll get my ass kicked. Thanks. That's ta-da! Sunshine. It's wonderful. So.
And I think that's what happens with most cities, where most of the people in the city are like, I don't want the Olympics to come here. Every time they come here, they fuck up the city for 3 weeks and then leave these like empty
you guys are having
structures in their wake, and yet we get them anyway.
Yeah, well, you guys are on board for when are you supposed
2028?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so fun.
Yeah.
Now they may just go around with like a dump truck and just start hucking people in there and just be like, yeah, you're moving today. Just like
There's-
that. That's the kind of stuff that may be coming around, you know?
We're already getting like there was a statement by Governor Gavin Newsom where he's like, maybe these
The king of the lizard people, you mean?
people out of there, you know.
King of the lizard people, Gavin Newsom. Yes.
That's-
Listen, you guys don't see the news I see up in Canada, and I don't see any news. So it is all shenanigans up here. Just rumor and innuendo. That's all I'm running on.
He looks like the AI version of George Hamilton.
Yes.
Wait, I
I did-
need to see another picture of George
Ooh.
Hamilton.
No. But George Hamilton, like at his prime, and definitely there's no question.
Full
Yeah.
orange, full white teeth. He had the
Yes,
shock
yes.
of like, gray hair.
Oh,
Gavin's kind of like that. It's just a little more juiced up.
Yeah.
Oh no,
No,
Gavin
here.
Newsom in like 20 years, he's going to be full George Hamilton.
There you go.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold
he's
on.
still riding that wave of youth he's got going.
Yeah. It's funny. Like this might seem a little off topic, but for this Halloween, my wife and I are planning to go as George and Martha Washington, and I'm going to be Martha and just like wear the wig and the dress with the beard.
I love it.
But I'm looking at paintings of her, and one of them looks like me if I was clean shaven. Like this is so fucked. Like Dino, this is her in like her 20s, I think. But I'm sending it to you in the.
Give me 1 second because I'm gonna show you guys George Hamilton when you're going. Yeah, that's Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, that's Gavin Newsom.
That is
I
100%
stand by my
Gavin Newsom.
comparison.
Man, George Hamilton. You know what?
Yeah.
Like I feel like George Hamilton. Yeah, definitely. There's shenanigans there. That's for sure. Where did you send it to me? There.
The Dan group chat.
Oh,
Right? The Widow's Peak, everything. I could easily go as.
That's aggressive, sir. That's
Show it to him.
I'm just give me a second. I'm loading it up right now. Matt, you're gonna listen. Matt, I don't know if you're gonna feel the same about Atlas afterward. I know I'm not, but check out the rack on Atlas.
Right?
Okay, so
Like,
she does seem to have Atlas's soft sloping neck, so that's important. You want to capture the feminine features.
Yeah.
But the widow's peak is rather prominent. There's some comparisons there. There's some similarity there for sure.
The lack of prominent Adam's apple, very key.
Atlas is about to file the oldest likeness rights case in the history of the United States. He's going to sue the great-great-granddaughter niece of Martha Washington.
Okay,
He's going to win too because you'll have Gloria Allred.
There you go. That's the way.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have seen the comparisons with Harry Potter, right? So it's like a series of pictures throughout history, men and women, that look like Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like,
meme.
they are alarming. And well, Atlas, congratulations. You are now an undying vampire. History of time. Gender fluid man of the people.
What we do in the shadows, Mount Vernon.
This fucking guy.
Let me try.
Fucking guy.
Let me try that again. What we do in the shadows, Mount Vernon. Fuck. Okay. What we
I
do
saw
in the
what you were
shadows,
going for.
Mount Vernon edition.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Editing
mean,
Atlas,
Nothing like
picture.
explaining a punch that didn't land the first 2 times.
No, that's for editing me.
Yeah.
Figure out.
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, this is where we're going to cut Atlas, and right, that's where
There
the
you
edit
go.
is.
Yeah. And now I feel the inside baseball should be in it too. This 100%. Like, no, they were doing that for the thing. See, I feel like people need to know how much absolute stupidity we do on this kind of shit, because like we try and have topics. We even had a little conversation beforehand. We're 10 minutes in, still haven't even touched it because we're just like, yeah, we're letting it ferment.
I segued into the Olympics and then we went right the fuck out of it again. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like I feel like the Olympics have never been a huge part of my existence, and I try every time. They were in Greece, and I was like, I gotta try and watch these ones because I'm Greek. I should represent. And I was like, I'll get the box set, which I never ended up buying. Apparently,
Box
it
set.
was fantastic. Yeah, no, that's but yeah.
The last time I remember the Olympics being so like a big part of the zeitgeist was like Michael Phelps when he was
Yeah.
running around getting gold medals, or at the latest, the 2008 Olympics in China, and then you had the South Park episode that was like, "Oh, the Chinese are taking over."
Well,
Everyone's
like
freaking out about it.
Yeah.
So I went to China before the 2008 Olympics.
Mhm.
And it was wild because it was like I was early enough that they still hadn't got around to changing signs to be like with English or anything like that. And people were like did not fucking give a shit
About the
who you are and what you're doing here. No, I have my own problems. Go fuck yourself. Unless you flash
Well,
some
a lot of
cash.
people in China.
And it's a lot of people in China. And I'll tell you, is when you go to a place where you're going, oh, I'm sure I can figure this out. That is your first mistake. That's when you're like, yeah, I trust my ability to figure things out on the fly. Don't do that. Do a little preparation. Dino is torn between being Greek
and
and
physical
physically
accent.
active. I mean,
Damn.
that's 100% accurate.
Oh,
That's
funny.
100%. Yeah.
And you know what's even funnier than that? You like don't give a shit about the Olympics. The Greeks enter first every time because you're where the Olympics came from.
Right.
And you still don't care enough to watch. Not that
I
I'm.
mean, I'd watch until the Greeks walk in, but then I'm like, do I wait until Canada comes? Like, look, yesterday, apparently it was Canada versus Greece for basketball. I'm like, that is a game that I win regardless. Doesn't matter what happens. I am successful. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
See here, the 2008 Olympics was really, I think it was important because it was still a year where we fully hadn't had really incredibly great smartphones. Because now you get excited to watch the Olympics. Oh my God, it's going to be great. You watch the opening ceremony, you see the pageantry, and you watch a few, entries, and you're like, this is cool. This is the Olympics. I'm supposed to be watching it. This is cool. And the Olympics because something that's on in the background while you scream at a stranger on BuzzFeed.
100% accurate.
My God. You cracked the code.
Like, this is the thing is, if there's a highlight, it'll be on social media. And when I'm doom scrolling, which is normally between midnight and 5 a.m. every night, I'm sure I'll see and I'll be able to follow up to see if there's a continuation of the story. It's wonderful.
Yeah. But I gotta hand it to China. Their opening ceremonies were amazing with the drums and the lights and everything. I remember watching that, like watching the opening ceremonies, and that was so beautiful. And the commentators were hilarious because they would say, this song right here is designed to welcome everyone to the Olympics. And this was the beat. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Then the guy would be like, okay, this next song here is to welcome international athletes and people who have strived hard. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. It's the same fucking song. It can't mean 17 different things.
I mean,
like Bob Costas is just
you don't know.
Encyclopedia. Just
hey, that's the best part. It's like, well, you don't know, so maybe it does. Yeah. I would
but
just drop
badass.
that.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is like the games have been fantastic so often where like, and it was really there was Greece, the Athens games, the Beijing games, Australia's games.
Okay.
Are the only ones that I remember where people were like, man, that was a show. Like their opening ceremonies were just out of control.
Yeah.
Since then, I don't remember anything. I remember like stories about people, but I'm like, I don't really care. I'm like, I'm in Canada. It's not a thing. It's not that big on sports. Los Angeles will have hosted 3 Olympic Games.
Yeah. I come from the 1984 games, man. We're talking Mary Lou Retton became the face of America for a few months. McDonald's would give you free food if we got gold medals. That whole thing you see on The Simpsons, the Krusty Burger thing, where if the USA, they get a gold medal, you get a free burger, and then they swept everything. That's based on a true story. That's you. If you bet on those games with the McDonald's pieces, you could walk into a McDonald's in 1984 and just put your receipts down and be like, it's going to be about 9 Big Macs. and no
Um,
argument.
That was the one thing that always enraged me was like, because I live in Toronto, so I'm in Canada, which means, but I'm only like across the lake from New York, right?
Yeah.
So like Rochester, New York, on a clear day, I can see from Toronto, no big deal. But yeah,
Rochester's not real.
well, they're also probably that's fair. That's
It's a very good simulation of New York, but it's not real.
well, it's not a simulation of New York. Let's be honest. It's a simulation of It's probably a simulation of like Pennsylvania. Like that's
there
probably
it is.
Yeah, you know,
because
they are
Indiana, just a dash of Muncie, Indiana.
That seems like they're racist, but also they love their family a little too much. I mean, that seems, yeah, Rochester, New York. That's fair. That's good. That's accurate. But like that, I don't remember what we were talking about. What was it?
You could see Rochester from a clear day. Something about Canada Olympics. Something.
Yeah, no, I'm a little too high. I'll be honest with you. I've been fighting with a hemorrhoid for like a week, and now I've just resorted to just taking handfuls of cannabis just to survive. It's been great. It's very fun, but the problem is the brain fog. Gets you. Kind of like
struggle is real. Struggle is real.
It's real, but no. This was what I was talking about. Was that so? We would see commercials from the States all the time.
Yeah,
because we were so close. But the problem was like all the deals that you guys would get, we didn't get shit. And I was like,
damn,
man, like it was honestly, it was hard. I was surprised when we got like the 25th anniversary, we got like 25-cent Big Macs, which I was like, bro, that's 25-cent Canadian. Like that's not 20 cents Canadian, American. Like that is like most change is supposed to be like, it's no big deal. Nah, not anymore. America's like, what is that, Canadian? Get that fucking thing out of there. They're like, hey, we accept yours. They're like, yeah, you should. It's worth something, you know? So, but yeah, are you kidding?
2 questions for Matt. So first off, how old were you during the '84 Olympics, and what city did you live in?
I was 6 years old. I've lived in Southern California all my life, so I was probably in the city of Diamond Bar watching it on TV. But yeah, no, like I said, Mary Lou Retton was a gymnast wonderkind, and she was fantastic. And we all, as kids, we would go to McDonald's and not only have our free food because of the Olympics, but you know, we would play out in the back playgrounds, which were there and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I was 6.
Okay.
So here's the thing, Matt. How old were you when you realized that Mary Lou Retton is like this tall?
Wait.
You know what? 1989 when Scrooge came out, because she has a small role in that, and movie cameras are different than broadcast cameras, and I was like, oh, she's squat. How cute.
My god, she's 4'9". She is literally the height where it's okay not to use a booster seat anymore.
Like just
where they're like 4'9" is the magic number. There, she's like just good enough.
People are still offering her beef jerky and juice boxes. I get it, you know.
I mean,
woof, that's rough.
It makes good for a good gymnast body. That's just how that works. It's trust the science, you know. But yeah, no, it's like, listen, we had what's his face? We had Donovan Bailey, who won before Usain Bolt. And then we had, who was the guy who got hit for steroids in No. He got like a fast time. Oh, now I gotta think this up. God damn it. Stupid drugs being too fun.
See, now when I was a kid, like, 9, 10, this is when Michael Phelps is doing his thing, and then this is also like the steroid era in baseball. So there were conversations happening of, why not just allow drugs? Like, let's see how far the human body can go. Like, people were like, I remember comedians talking about that.
There could be separate events for that. I mean, that was, this is the roided up league, or the HGH league. You know, they wanted to get all juiced up. Let's see let's turn these human tanks on each other and see, see where we can get a pay-per-view out of it.
Let's see.
Like, can you imagine? Like, you would have guys though who would be like, oh, they have like the horse leg muscles like sewn onto their bodies and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like that's realistically what would happen.
The Frankenstein Invitational.
Yeah. Oh, Ben Johnson.
Ben
Who, if you see Ben
dude,
Johnson,
that was it. Ben Johnson, right?
Ben Johnson, yeah. So Ben Johnson, if you see him, number one is he's massive, and then you're like, oh, he's also the fastest man in the world. You're going, oh, this guy, like you saw it, and like it wasn't just his legs were big, like which most runners and like cyclists and stuff, you see their legs, you're like, wow, those are some big legs.
Mhm.
Nothing else on them is big. Everything else is tiny.
Right.
Ben Johnson, you saw him, and he was stacked from like muscles on the top of his head to the pads of his feet. Like he was one giant muscle, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. And then he's like,
Who
also
Who was his
fast.
rival? Was it Carl Lewis? Was his name?
Oh,
like
Carl Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a very. It was a distinct rivalry, sort of frenemy
Huge,
thing
yeah.
between Carl Lewis and Ben Johnson. I remember that.
Carl
Well,
Lewis also did the thing where he sang the national anthem badly, and he's like, "I suck at this. Sorry, guys." People were like, "All right, cool." Like,
I mean, at least he admitted it. That's fine.
Yeah.
The reason steroids aren't legal is because everyone would have to use them to compete. I mean,
yeah,
well,
that's why you make the
yeah.
separate league, right?
Yeah. And like, okay, let's be honest though. The people that would come out of Russia,
Oh yeah.
no, they would.
Everybody coming out of Russia would just be the Rocky IV training montage. Like
100%.
Yeah, I smelled Drago a mile away when you guys brought that up.
No question. But like also like you would have like, because now remember someone actually mentioned this and we talked about it, was like you can get that elective surgery to like gain inches of height, which like originally was like for people who had misformed joints and stuff, and where you would extend their big bones so that they could gain height and use of their legs back, stuff like that. But now you're like, if you're just a short king and you're like, I want to be taller. One guy went from like 5'7" to 6'2", which you're like, bro, that's a huge amount of height.
yeah,
And also too, I feel like if you're very tall, people assume that certain things are, proportionate. So when you have like really stubby arms, but these really excessively long legs, it's gonna, and a small wiener, definitely
yeah.
gonna be an issue.
That's the thing. I have tiny hands but huge feet. So it's like, what does that even mean? Where it's like, they're like, okay, tiny hands,
Yeah.
huge feet. Turns out my penis slightly undersized. Happens.
Events that they
24 moving at.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Damn, Jim.
wow.
Yeah, because Jim drives a bus.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking
So,
cool.
for-
Jim has
for-
wild.
For listeners, if you want, Jim Eaton has his own episode, which long time ago. But just
Go
look up
check it
Jim
out.
Eaton in Generation Dan. But
Yeah.
the thing says, I was 24 moving athletes from UC Santa Barbara housing to row events at Lake Cositas and to the Coliseum for the medal ceremonies.
I mean,
And I like how he said medal, like ding ding, like solid chemicals.
We'll allow it.
Not
We'll
metal
allow
as in gold medal. We'll allow it.
Doesn't matter. Why do you have to be so mean to the old guy? Come on, Jim, I got your back. Don't worry. And plus, you can take him. Like that's the best.
Yeah,
that's the best part about Atlas is while he is over 6 foot, you're like what 6 and like a
6
bit,
and
right? Yeah,
You saw
6
me
and
in
change. Yeah, like but like physical combat, nope. He tells jokes and he's friendly.
I've got no reach and the fighting spirit of a toddler. So,
Yeah, and it's funny because like he's big for a person, and then I walked like the first time we met. Matt was at his wedding, and I was there, and I just said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I shook his hand, and he's just like, "You are a lot bigger in like, but not big." And I'm like, "Well, I lost a lot of weight and stuff like that." He's like, "No, but it's a massive head. I have a massive face too." So, mind you, so the difference for me is I used to have a body that matched. So I used to be 500 pounds, and now I'm in the mid twos.
You used to look like a power lifter.
Yeah, and
Yes, sir.
Around.
exactly. And now like people are just like they just can't figure out what the hell I look like, which is great. That's where I thrive But I don't know. I remember playing sports in school, and people were like, "You could go to the Olympics." I'm like, "I'm not going to the Olympics. That's not for me." That's
No,
like,
you got tickets, dude. You can have these tickets and go to the Olympics. Go check it out. My dad can't go. He's an alcoholic and he's in a program. So could you take these tickets and go to the Olympics?
I mean,
I never meant you to compete, you ridiculous arthropod. But no, please take these tickets.
Yeah, like there's. See, I like to say to people, like people when they really want to understand how I live my life, I say, if there was an Olympic event for laziness, I wouldn't just win gold. I would send someone else to pick up the medal. I'm like, we're that level of. I'm
like what, Sachin Littlefeather or something? You're going to send an emissary to pick up your medal?
That's right. I'm that lazy. That's exactly.
I think that would end up being a like a test. Like if you don't send someone to pick up your gold medal, they're like, "Oh, you fucked up at the last minute. Silver gets the gold now."
100%. 100%. You can't go pick it. You have to prove your laziness at that level. Where it's like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, this has been so. Number one, let's start with number one issue with the Olympics. Since 2015, Paris has been spending money to try and clean up the Seine River so that they could swim in it. Now, anyone who has been on social media has heard people have been talking about there were days organized by groups to actively poop into that river just to be a nuisance to the Parisian government. Now, since 2015, they have spent.
That's very French of them.
Very French of them.
Very French of them.
And listen,
the government is trying to clean up our city. Fuck you.
It's I've never heard you do a good accent, and yet you persist to do them, and I think that is a sign of your character. It's a good thing, I think.
Who likes my Russian accent?
I mean, it sounds a lot like it's Irish, to be honest. But it's close. It's a good accent. Where it's from, I mean, who knows? That's in the ear of the beholder. Yeah.
Kyle says no city has ever come out of Olympics in the black, and that's true.
No.
Some More News, which is a YouTube show, did a story about the Olympics recently. Yeah, it's always like a shit move. Like it seems like the cities do it for like the cultural capital, where they're like, oh, now we're the cool city. We hosted the Olympics.
When was it? When it was in Brazil, and like they literally,
Rio, right?
Yeah, and the Rio Olympics, they literally made stadiums, parking lots, middle of nowhere,
right?
And just they got thrown back into the wilderness. The wilderness just took it back. Like, everything they did is just gone, and you're like, what? There were remember, this is Rio. There are stadiums because they play soccer. Like that's what they do. So why did you have to build new? Like it just seems like such a scam. And then on top of that, we're not going to get to see technically the highest and or peak of human possibility with steroids. No, with steroids. I mean, like get them as drugged up as possible, and let's see what the human body can do.
It seems like the best, like most people are clamoring for, just have one place to host them. So you just go there every 4 years, and that's
Greece has been dying to do that. They're like, bring it to Greece. We are the originators of everything, my friend. You will bring it to us, and we will make it a happy thing. Come on.
I think they should, to be honest. That makes
the only weird part is that, like when you look at it, the Olympics, number one, weirdo sex party. Let's start there. Okay?
Oh yeah, they have like barrels of condoms. They're like, please take one.
Oh, it's not just that. So every time that I have went to a city where the Olympics had been, I always find a way to get in touch with people who are like just working class people, because I'm a working class person. So I'm like, I talk with people who are in trades and stuff like that. And also I tell dick jokes very well. So tradespeople are like, hey, that's our guy. I'm like, haha, these nuts. It's great.
Haha,
So-
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trade.
It's a very, it's like a secret handshake kind of thing. But like that being said, I always ask about the Olympic Village, and every time they're like, bro, they're still trying to deal with the sewer system because they are all filled with fucking condoms. Like every sewer and drainage and thing, like in Greece,
Wow.
they built all these villages, and there were like 4 apartments per building, like, and they did a really cool job. But Greece operates on a septic system. It doesn't operate on a sewerage system. So
Mm.
every septic system was just to the fucking brim
Oh.
with fucking condoms. And like, hey, this was causing like backups of doo-doo, because like, if you don't know, people, traditional rubbers are made out of rubber and they don't degrade in a septic tank,
Sewer.
and they clog up a sewer very well, I'll tell you. It's and that has been every place. And now I can't really say anything against it, because think about it, you have people from around the world who are in peak physical state.
How could you
And-
not be fucking?
Yeah, you're
Like,
gonna be fucking.
Be
right?
honest
Like,
with yourself. Yeah.
and most of you are teenagers. Now, the only problem is that there are a lot of people who go to the Olympics that are not 18. And that is also, you're like, oh, that's foul play. It's fucking weird though, man. That's
Well, for this Olympics, they got to be breaking into the gymnasium or something and using like leftover pommel horses, because apparently in fucking Olympic Village, the beds are made out of cardboard,
yes.
like actual corrugated like cardboard, where they've unfolded boxes in such a way and put a mattress on top of them. It's like the worst fucking Fleabag hotels in Bakersfield, California are more luxurious than Olympic Village in Paris right now.
Okay, so like this is the weird part, is that like on one level I'm kind of like, that's kind of awesome that you guys figured out how to make a cardboard bed. And it's not like, and if just so you guys picture it, it's not like a cardboard where it's like all corrugated and it like spreads out and it's all very close together. Like this is like a bunch of shapes. It looks like not Connect 4, the what was the other game, the Perfection, where you had to put in the little shapes and it was on a timer.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
all weird little
Yeah,
shapes.
it all
and then
works together.
And then you're like, and like I've seen TikTokers like take flying like elbow drops onto the bed and it doesn't break. So it's like, on one level, wow. On the other level, these are supposed to be the athletes of the future, you fucking dickheads. So you're gonna give
Right.
them a cardboard bed? Like, that's what the homeless use, you sons of bitches.
You're hosting these people from all over the world, and there's not even a drop in the budget for some hospitality.
Yeah. No, what there is a drop in the budget for, is Jim Eaton so helpfully commented, because
Jesus.
this is Generation Dan. Atlas will bring up urbanism shit. Los Angeles has a subway system thanks to the '84 Olympics, and we actually do have a people mover to LAX thanks to the '28 Olympics. So you can, it's called the Flyway bus. You go from Union Station, and it's like a straight shot to LAX. They're also currently expanding the K line, which when I went to Cleveland to go do shows with you and Cole and all them.
Yeah.
On the way to there, I took the K line as far as it would go, and then the Uber was about $6.
Quit judging my
so-
bed.
Quit judging my bed, sir. And then on the way back, I took the shuttle from the airport to the K line, and then took it the rest of the way home. So that's one thing that Olympics do for cities, is that they like are incentivized to build better public transportation, because they've got to move all these Olympians and people here, come to watch shit.
Listen,
Right.
let's be honest though. Transit sucks. Okay. It's not transit should be great, and we should be moved super quick through the city. There shouldn't be traffic issues, but that's not the case. And the fact is, I don't want to be on a bus with some stinky ass guy who is like, hey, you want to be friends? No, I don't want to be friends, sir. I want to mind my own business and read my fucking book. That's,
I mean, that's what when public transportation is done right, meaning when they put a lot of money into it, and
Yeah.
there's multiple lines, meaning like if people are going roughly one direction, like if they're going north, if you have lines going northwest, north, a little
Yeah.
less northwest, north, like that, then less people are all in one line at the same time, meaning it's not like a fucking John Wick movie or something. You just get on the train, get on the bus, and it's not a big deal.
Amen. Well, it's the same idea with charging fare. Like, you've used taxpayer dollars to build something for taxpayers, and then you're going to charge them a fee to use it.
I think that's for upkeep or whatever. I am a fan of like fare, getting rid of fares.
I thought you were going to say fare avoidance, and I'm like, my man, there we go. Now we're talking.
I think the people who do commit fare avoidance, who maybe are down in the dumps.
You're heroes. You're Robin Hood. That's who you are.
I have a similar opinion of them that I have of shoplifters who take things like tampons or diapers or necessities, right? Like you have to get where you're going, and I'm not going to fault you for that.
Mind you, if it's a guy and he steals like 4 packs of tampons, you're kind of wondering if he's starting his own business or something. I don't know if he's trying.
That's different. I'm talking about the woman who's like got fucked up hair and just lost her job or something. Don't fault her. She didn't.
Oh, so you're sexist. I got it. Oh, California. Gotcha. That's fair. Yeah. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. It also, you kind of were just like, yeah, well, if men have to eat, fuck them. But if women need it, which I mean, I agree. I'm just it's not
for guys who, I don't know, a guy has a job interview and he doesn't have an address, and he needs to get a razor, and he steals a razor.
You can use Atlas's address, and we're going to give it to you right now.
Oh my God, Dino, I will come up to Toronto and kill you. Kyle says I only shoplift tampons.
I mean, Kyle definitely does. That's for sure. He is what we call here an ally. I don't know if you guys have that in California, but Kyle definitely, he's out here helping people. Sorry, just so you understand, Matt. Kyle is 6'6" with a ponytail and a beard. And have you ever seen? Let me think. The movie. No. 13th
Harley
Warrior?
Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
No, I mean maybe. The movie Vikings. The 13th Warrior.
He's flat out Nordic. This guy.
Well, he looks like he is all of the characters. He's just all of them.
Okay.
You're like he's in like. I asked him once. I was like, "Have you seen the 13th Warrior?" He's like, "No," and I'm like, "You're 12 of the 13 people in the movie, man. You're and Antonio
12 angry men."
Which, side note, apparently news has come out that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Doom, which I'm like, I'm kind of waiting for all Marvel movies to just be Robert Downey Jr. playing different roles against himself, which I'm like, I will watch it. I'll watch it. It's just, I'm looking forward to it.
I'd watch it.
I think it's the biggest Hail Mary I've seen since Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and that paid off in unbelievable dividends. And I have a lot of faith in Robert Downey Jr. And, everyone's like, well, how's it going to be once he, takes his hood off? And you're not supposed to see his face. Dr. Doom is fucking mangled. He'll be buried under prosthetics, hopefully.
Yeah.
And just the performance will come through.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We can hope. We can dream. But
we've talked about it on this show where there are some actors where you watch them and you cannot see them as a different character. And Robert Downey Jr., unfortunately, is Iron Man. So as long as they don't take the thing off the face, I think you're okay.
Kyle likes to say that he is Aquaman because he looks
like him.
He does look like Jason Momoa, but I refuse to say that to him. So I say he looks like Wish.com Jason Momoa, which makes him mad, and I don't care. So
he's the Deep from The Boys, if you've ever seen that.
I win the K line, goes all the way to LAX terminal and turns around and comes back. It's going to be cool. I mean, I've been on a K line once. No, I'm just joking. I've never been on a K line. I know people who have, though, and they swear by it. I'm watching you guys in women's beach volleyball. That is a proper response to someone saying, hey, do you know the Olympics? I'm like, yeah, I watched women's beach volleyball. That's the conversation. Come on. Don't be ridiculous. That's how you count how many people ride the bus, is how much money you collect. I mean, but the point is, if it didn't cost any money, that would be people would use it more freely. But
Yeah.
also then, because then they'd realize, well, I'm not paying for it because we paid for it. Then we're going to keep it up so we don't have to repay for it.
Yeah. It's also like when I was telling my in-laws about my trip to Oregon and like how much cheaper it was than flying, just that it took longer. They were like, "Oh, huh," because like the public transportation, like in general, is cheaper than
Yeah.
car, right? Gas, upkeep,
For sure.
tire stuff, all that. Do you know,
Tuning has been a white
car
line.
washes.
You bet your bottom dollar I have, sir.
And that's what it really should be. I'm not really sure why he just disappeared randomly, but
Because I'm a wizard, okay, sir?
Okay.
That's why.
But with all that in mind,
Things happening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Public transportation in Cleveland is just like, why bother? Yeah, and it shouldn't be that
Yeah.
way. You live next to the Great Lakes, you're near all these other cities. They should have
Yeah.
high-speed rail and shit.
Well, like realistically, the only times that I use transit is if I am like if I'm gonna go buy mushrooms, I go buy the mushrooms. Then as I'm jumping on to the last bus in that journey, I take the mushrooms. And that way like I just make it home before my entire brain cracks like an egg. Because I like to live adventurously. But you know,
if anybody wants to hear more about that, check out our Hire a Giant episode or the episode from last week. More details.
We talked about Atlas's experience taking mushrooms. I thought he was a square too, people. Apparently, he is a square. It's a great episode. It's fucking hilarious. It's okay, Matt, you may have experienced this too because you grew up in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s, and the 90s, where you're like, listen, people acted differently, but also knew how to act, right? So now when you see people who like maybe you grew up with or people who used to, you know, do things, and now you're like, oh, you work at Costco. That's weird. And you kind of like it's a weird experience, and people are like, oh yeah, I like to juice everything, and you're like, what the fuck, Jock LaLanne, asshole? I remember when you fought a fucking kitten in the woods. You're like, it's one of those kind of weird things, and you're like, I feel like it's happening a lot faster with the young people. They're just like, nope, I'm gonna be a senior citizen by the age of 30. Fuck it. And I'm like,
for that one, I know what it's down to, and that's we don't have money to do stuff, so you might as well just enjoy the senior life, I think.
I mean, that's fair. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, why?
Wait until the forward to free pudding.
Free pudding.
That's going to be my senior moment. Is I finally get some, finally get some actual Jello pudding for free.
I had it. Yeah.
Us millennials, when we were kids, there's this joke flying around about like, I can't wait till I'm a senior because then we're gonna have Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros on GameCubes in the nursing homes. I'm like, look, I can't find a GameCube now, for say. A. B, what makes you think we'll be able to see or manipulate a game controller by that point? Are they going to have NyQuil, cold flu, and arthritis?
At that point, you're going to have two little nodules that you go like this, and you just look at the system, and it's going to play. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we're just about a decade and a half away from being inside a Black Mirror episode.
Pretty much. I think that's...
we're there. No, listen, after the opening ceremony we saw, I feel like we are right there. Okay,
we're there.
We are having a forced renaissance, and the paintings, I'll tell you, are diabetic. There's the whole lot of them very diabetic focused.
It will be 2047, and they will still have 2007 Wii Sports. Are you kidding me? We'll love that shit. They just sold like hotcakes to old people when it was new.
But hold on, the new things in the Olympics are skateboarding and breakdancing. Is that are the new Olympic events?
Now,
so
they did say they weren't having the breakdancing for the LA Olympics, which is like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's the city. That's where you do it.
I mean, I don't know if it's the city, but it was one of them. Is that in New York? That's where you can you imagine if they were like, I'm from Boston and I breakdance. You're like, what the fuck? It's gonna be to an Irish jig, and I want to be it. I want to see it. I want to see
They
it.
do
It's gonna
that
be awesome.
at the end, and they're and it just says "Go Pats." Like,
It's good.
just-
Oh, God.
I mean,
That's
I
funny.
feel like it'll be a good one. It'll be good. This is the thing is like you got to remember the Olympics also too. Just I feel like a lot of people don't realize this. Like when you run a marathon, that's 26 miles, right?
Yeah.
The origin of that is a guy who ran 26 miles and then fucking died.
well, because he ran with all his armor on.
Yeah, but then he fucking died.
Yeah.
So like
Okay,
running it kind of makes you a dick.
A little bit. It is kind of dunking on him just a little bit, right?
Well, listen, it's the same idea. Like I try and like I love talking to people about religion, Matt, because it makes them enraged. So I like to ask people who wear a cross, and I'm like, hey, do you think if Jesus was shot in front of a firing squad, you'd wear a gun around your neck instead? And then watch their entire brain melt, and they get very angry at me, and I'm like, I'm bigger than you, so you can't do anything to me, but best of luck.
Yeah,
And
what
I
if they
mean-
just poisoned him? Like just a little vial, like here, take this, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
You'd have a little teardrop of, mystery. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. This is people tend not to think about things, and I feel like it's
Oh,
our job to point them out. Tell me.
What if they killed him via scaphism or scafing? Do you guys know what that is?
I feel like we're gonna
No.
have an awkward conversation right now, but go on, tell us.
Okay, so this is the most fucked up way that people, the Persians would torture people, which easily could have made its way to the Romans. So,
All right,
all right.
probably.
The way it worked was they put their victim out on a boat on a lake, and then put a second boat on top of him. So it's like only their limbs are sticking out, and then they force feed them milk and honey until they shit and vomit all over themselves, and then the bugs come in and eat you alive. So imagine, so they killed Jesus through scaphism, and you just have like the two boats
Yeah.
on the necklace. Jesus.
I mean, like, but that's the thing. So hold on. Some Greek dude ran 26.2 miles to get some gyro and fucking died.
Yeah.
I would have wore a hero around my neck. That would have been. I would do a little hero right here. Be like, you remember when he died? He died for the hero, people. He died for the hero.
He was a hero. Wait.
Yeah, he was a hero for hero. It just shows that you should never make an example of somebody. I mean, that's not a horrible. That's a pretty horrible thing to say. Yeah.
In the name of the Father, the Shawarma, and the Holy Ghost.
I mean,
together we pray.
That might be the episode title. That's so
I
great.
mean, I feel like that's the best way we can make this somebody else's problem. I like that. I'm moving into versus living on Vista next to UCSB. I mean, damn, Jim. Jim is just gonna go have some fun. Listen, Jim, I encourage you. So this is the thing: is I always like to explain to anesthesiologists if I'm gonna have surgery that I'm like, hey, by the way, I take a lot of drugs. Best of luck, and then lie down. And they get really mad at that. So I encourage you, Jim, is if you're gonna do stuff, like make sure you have fun in your assisted living place. You know, get a hookup. See if one of your people have drugs. You know, if you're gonna go out. No, listen. If you're gonna be an assistant, you ain't jumping in the car and gonna go on a fucking Costco run, Jim. So you know what? Enjoy the shit out of it, bro. Enjoy the shit out of it because you deserve it. Dino, when was the last time you ran over 10 meters and how far was it? So I've been walking. Well, I stopped walking, like for activity. I still walk. My legs still work. The diabetes hasn't taken them. But yeah, I've been walking a lot. Assisted living. With full release. I mean, that I feel like is going to be how
full release. What does that even mean?
Oh, we both know what it means. Come on.
Well, I'm afraid I do.
It's the happy ending that we all been waiting for.
For people who
release.
speak cheeseburger, 10 meters is about 30 feet.
Oh, there you go. Eagles per cheeseburger. Yeah, though that's
Chibugi, Pepsi, chip.
That like one of the things about this thing is like it's been a weird Olympics, right? Like now we have skateboarding and breakdancing. Everything was well. Now they can't swim in the river because people kept pooping on it. Which,
but we have skateboarding without Tony Hawk. We have breakdancing without Jean-Claude Van Damme. So I feel like the events are far too late for that. Have you ever seen Van Damme in Breakin'?
Yes.
I mean, like
the fact that movie is responsible for the phrase "electric boogaloo."
True.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an important part of American history.
Yeah, definitely.
Be honest. Right?
But yeah, definitely. I really think skateboarding should have been a thing in like the 90s or early aughts.
Right, in its heyday.
The cool thing is like Tony Hawk has gone on to explain how like hated he was. I only have 10 more. Yeah, no.
Got it. Yeah, us too. So.
This is exactly how you derail a conversation. Yeah. Matt, you should do that when you have like a face-to-face conversation with somebody. Just like have that in your back pocket and be like, I got to give this to you.
I did. I tried that with my wife and she stuffed the paper down my throat. So I figured it'd be okay to try with you guys because we're not really here.
That's a smart move, but
Matt's
like
wife is awesome. We heard her off camera before the episode started, and she's hilarious.
Matt, just in case if you need the signal, you know what to do, right? Just do the just in case. No.
Imagine if they had done the Olympics like when Rocket Power was on the air, and because Rocket Power was a Nickelodeon show in the 90s and early aughts that would respond to things going on in the skateboarding world. You had Tony Hawk show up as a character and Shaun White and stuff like that. If they had done the Olympics, like us, the millennials, our heads would have exploded.
True. Yeah. Instead, we get the X Games. Yay.
Yeah.
In more ways
they did have X Games stuff in Rocket Power, so that's pretty on.
I don't know, but listen, I'm just looking forward for the highlights. That's for sure. I feel like there's going to be some really good highlights this time.
Oh yeah,
coming out of this Olympics because I mean, a lot of people are just trying to make a name for themselves, right? So why not do it at the Olympics? The whole world is watching, and I'll tell you, they were going to make fun of you anyway. So that's fine. That's reasonable. Yeah. But do you guys look forward to any sports in particular? Like, is there anything like? Obviously, I think like the highlight, like the 100-meter and stuff like that. Maybe the was there like a 10,000 meter run?
Yeah, like any swimming events are always interesting. Diving events.
Such a fucking pervert. God. Where they're naked in the water, I like them. Those are nice.
No, or like water polo.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't they allowed to just stand in the pool? Why do they have to constantly be doing the Ed Reader kick? That always got to me.
There's a lot of things that are in the Olympics that I'm just like, why hasn't that ever changed? But like,
well, water polo has changed a lot over the years. After the first few horses drowned, they basically moved it to something that was just a little easier.
Yeah.
You know, and I like what it looks like today.
Man.
Yeah, they quit wearing Ralph Lauren shirts.
I mean, and that's when it all went downhill. Yeah, 100%. Ridiculous.
It's hard to have a conversation with anyone in a polo shirt. It's just a fact of life.
Oh yeah.
Especially when the logo has just started like covering half of their torso, and you're like, I don't know what. Like, do you work for them? I don't understand what's happening. I always found that
just
confusing.
Be a little crocodile, dude, and don't make it too complicated. You're lucky, you know, you have a collar.
Everybody who wears polo shirts on purpose are either tech bros or they work for Geek Squad.
I mean, like, I just wore it because I was fat and they're cheap. And I'm like, that works, you know, but I would never like, people are like, oh, where did you get that? And I'm like, I don't know, fucking Walmart. There's no logos on this shit. I'm just happy it fucking fits.
When I was in elementary school, that was part of our uniform, was a polo shirt with the school's little logo on it. And I fucking hated them. So screw you, polo shirts. It's retired county employees too, so we're gonna have a great time. Hell yes, Jim.
I mean, that sounds like it's gonna be Christmas party with booze constantly. I
We
like
gotta
it.
bring Jim back on when he's like 7
Why not?
if they let him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, oh, are you kidding me? You know how popular we can make Jim? Jim could be a star of his retirement community. And be like, yeah, I'm going live, everybody, just in case you want to watch. I'm going to fucking talk about you specifically, and just point out somebody and have a vendetta. I feel like old age homes should, at a certain point, become like, before they become sad, they got to be like just drama filled,
Oh yeah, it's like high school,
like
probably
crazy, right? Like, I remember a friend was working as like a pharmacy assistant, and she would all hear these stories because she had to deliver meds to the retirement home that was like right beside that place, and like she would go door to door delivering medication, and like she goes, number one, the amount of medication for sexually transmitted diseases, alarming.
Oh
That's
yeah,
number
they
one.
fuck all the time. Apparently.
Number two, like the people who were like constantly cheating on other, and you're just like, it was like a complete just whorehouse of a place. And I'm just like, wow, that is my kind of old age home. I mean, it's fun times. You know?
Poorhouse of a place.
I mean, I feel like that's important. Like, if you've gotten this far, you might as well enjoy it. But can you imagine like the people who are young, like that are going through life right now, that possibly may or may not have starred in the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, but like when they're old, God willing, like they were weird as young people. How much weirder are they going to get as old people?
Not sure.
You know?
Well, I just
Like,
will have to find out at the Olympians.
I mean, can you imagine? Like, that's wild. Anyways,
So
yeah,
That's
okay.
okay.
thank you.
But
so
gentlemen,
much
I have a lot of herpes medication I have to deliver, so I gotta go.
Where
No
can
problem.
people find and follow you before you go?
You can find me on Instagram at Matagram78, and also Facebook under my name, which is right. See, there it is. You can find me on Facebook under that as well.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, 1T. Make sure you put in the one. Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Make sure you put in the 1T, Matt Biller. You come up with a Matt Biller with 2 T's. He's a registered sex offender, and we don't talk as much as we used to, so he's not the same guy.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Matt.
No worries, gentlemen. I hope to do it again. Have a good day and get that Olympic gold.
All right. Follow us at Generation Dan in all the places. Our other show, Last Minute History, is also on this channel. Follow me at Atlas Novak and all of the other places, or my other podcast, Nexus at Night, which is about a trading card game called Vanguard. If that's not your thing, that's okay, and fuck you. How about you?
I mean, it's like poetry. I love it. It sounds so good. No, I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. Everyone, you can follow me everywhere. But special little treat is that tomorrow we're going to be doing Life of Giants in the evening.
Which
Probably
will already
talking.
be out by the time you hear this. For the,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna be talking about all sorts of stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking about limits, but on Tuesday we're gonna do a special hammer and cheese, and we're gonna be doing it out of Cole's show. We're going vertical, as we've had some success with it. So please make sure you like and share to all of our channels. So it's Kyle Petrila, Atlas Novak, Dino the Genetic Morrow, and Cole Clayton is under Sniffing Glue 22, which I am still enraged that he got that goddamn moniker. I'm not sure how he got that through, but god damn it, it's fantastic. So can't go wrong with that. All right.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Get that gold, baby.
Later.